Welcome back to CBS Soap Dish Recap, where we recap everything CBS soaps, both the young and the restless, and the bold and the beautiful. And this is your bold and the beautiful August 11, 2022 recap, where we find out that Sheila demise and twist of fate and what happened will stun the Forresters, while both Liam and Hope get some shocking requests regarding Douglas. So before we unpack all of this, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and please don't forget to like and share. So we're back to this particular episode, and as we remember yesterday, there was a lot of loving in the afternoon, and so what we got to see today is both of our couples, both Steffi and Finn, and Hope and Liam, basking in the afterglow of their whole romantic afternoon. So as much as these two couples are having a great day to start off with, well, it's going to take an ugly turn for both of these couples. So, I mean, they need to enjoy it for the moment because it's about to shift. So now we're over at Forrester Creations. Brooke gets a call from Detective Sanchez in regards to the fact of some news about Sheila Carter. Now, originally, he's not only looking for Brooke, but he's also looking for Ridge, which happens to be nowhere to be found. And his phone is at the office. But because of the fact that, everybody has been wondering, the last we saw of Sheila Carter was at Deacon Sharp's place when, she requested that, Deacon help her out. The last thing we saw was that. So back over at Steffi's house, Lee stops by. And so far, it looked like Steffi is trying to hold it together. Because remember, we had that little argument that they had a couple days ago. Now, Brooke actually get in touch with Steffi to find out where her father is. Hey, have you spoken to your dad? Detective Sanchez has some news for us. I need you guys to get over here because he has an update on Sheila Carter. And so Steffi is like, okay, we're on our way. Lee is here too. I'll call my mom and we can all meet you at Forrester Creations. And of course, when Steffi says Sheila Carter, both Lee and Finn was like, Sheila. So yeah, everybody was interested to know what's going on. So everybody's over at Forrester Creations. And this is where we get a little bit of a interjection with when it comes to Taylor asking Lee, how come you didn't tell nobody where that you had your son? So she had spent this 5 minutes of an explanation saying, look, if I could have changed things, I would have, but my focus was on getting my son back to his health. And Taylor was like, you still could have told Steffi, if not me. Well, while they're going all back and forth about all of this, and I'm like, can we just keep this moving? Because this is getting kind of long, okay? Detective Sanchez comes in wondering where Ridge is. Ridge is still nowhere to be found. I'm wondering if that has something to do with where they're going with all of this. But at this point, Ridge is nowhere to be found. So Detective Sanchez dropped the news that Sheila Carter is no longer here. But it came with a trail of events. So he brought this police report by, and, it supposedly proved that Sheila is gone for good. Of course, the people in the room are meeting him with skepticism because how many times have Sheila been dead and come back from the dead? Thanks to the writers. Brooke always say, she's not convinced because Sheila is a master manipulator. As for Taylor, she was confused over what exactly all this means. And I'm like, what do you mean? What does it mean? But it looks like the police indeed believe that Sheila Carter is dead. So Taylor thinks it's a relief. Finn will pull Steffi close to her, himself, and he gets a little bit of reassurance from her. And I'm like, okay, at this point now you're worried about Finn and how he feels about his mother. Okay. But they struggle to kind of let all of this go. I mean, how can anyone really be sure that Sheila is gone permanently? Finn wasn't even dead after getting shot in the alley. Neither was Lee when her car burst into flames and sank. And if Lee and Finn can survive, and we already know Sheila has had several resurrections, whatever deadly outcome the cops think she's faced, Sheila usually have figured out a way to set some stuff up. But who knows? We'll see. But the crazy thing out of all of this, besides the police reports, the pictures, the bloody hair, all of this, the next thing he pulls out is this whole digit. Now, that's a medical term, but technically it means either a finger or a toe. And he showed the Forresters some evidence from the morgue or with the autopsy or whatever, from the coroner's office, of a piece of, and I think, even though I know it was fake, Brooke's face, I can guarantee you, was replica of everybody that was watching the show today. But I'm like, really, writers? That's what we're doing? A bear attack? Because this all is coming from a bear attack that she was subject to. And, of course, her demise ended in such a tragic form. I'm like, out of all of the things that they could have came up with, you come up with a bear attack. But as gruesome as it sounds, I guess that was the way for them to try to end this whole thing with the Sheila Carter saga. I mean, everybody's face, as much as they can't stand Sheila, the fact that they was like, oh my God, what a way to go. Yeah, and then they gave us this whole history of her and Stephanie, OG Stephanie, and then, of course, the romance between Eric and Sheila. And I'm like, he probably the one that brought this woman into their lives in the first place. I think. I know it's a long time ago. But they give us this whole quick 2 minute, I don't even think it was 2 minutes, this quick history of Sheila Carter and the impact long time ago up into this whole thing with Sheila switching the labels on the alcohol bottle to get Brooke drunk. I mean, that was just a crazy episode to me. I was like, writers, you could have did better than this with getting Sheila off the show. Now, I do know that Kimberlyn Brown had to have surgery, I think, this summer. So I know that probably she had an opportunity to try to bow out gracefully. But bear attack? Yeah, that was crazy. But all in all, at this point, it seems that Sheila is gone. But I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe it. I'm like Brooke. I'm skeptical. She could have set that whole thing. That could be somebody else. And did they do a DNA test on her finger? Did she happen to just missing a finger and she's still walking around somewhere? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But as for now, look like we're shifting to a different storyline. And they actually had to show a close-up of the whole thing. It was crazy. So remember how I said that the day started out great for these couples? Well, it's about to turn for them too. So, I mean, up until this point, Liam and Hope was enjoying some family bonding time with Douglas and Beth and all of this. Thomas came by and decided to spend some time and, toss the ball around with Douglas. And by the way, looked like they got an older Beth actress and a different Douglas actor. So I was like, okay, kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't realize that they were going to switch it out. Anywho, as they was spending time and having a great time, it was one of those times where, of course, Thomas wanted to spend some time, more time with Douglas, and Douglas definitely didn't want him to leave. And I mean, he was, I guess because he did so well at throwing the ball around, they were excited about that. They need a new athlete in the family, according to Liam. But it really became a very emotional moment because, I mean, Douglas at this point is like, why you gotta leave? I don't get to spend much time with you. I really miss you. And so look like we have the beginning not only of a new storyline, but look like we have a custody battle coming. Because now Thomas feels, now I'm thinking that now since Caroline has been gone, it's been about 3 years. So Hope has had full custody of Douglas for the last 3 years. And we remember that Thomas was not in a good headspace during that time. And so, of course, that's how, and plus he was in love with Hope, which is how this whole custody thing started in the first place, because he thought that, he was going to end up with her, but that didn't happen. And, it is what it is. Anywho, at this point, he's disappointed because now he got to do homework. He wanted to spend additional time, and Hope sent him like, nope, you got to get your stuff done. He kind of got an attitude and he went to his room. And so this is where, Thomas decided to bring up something that has apparently been on his mind. And, like I said, he wasn't in the right space at some point to properly take care of Douglas, but those days are gone. And Thomas has definitely proved himself to be a good father and thinks maybe Douglas should move back with him full time. Now, with Hope hearing that throws her into a tailspin. So, no doubt she'll try to steer Thomas into a less drastic direction. And, of course, we know Liam is going to back her up. Now, Thomas is going to put the subject down for the moment because she put her foot down. But this doesn't seem like it's going to, go anywhere anytime. I mean, he's not going to let this go anytime soon. Thomas wants to be a more hands-on dad. And so having Douglas move in with him again will definitely help him achieve that. And while she's getting pissed off, and I'm like, girl, I mean, I get it, but that's his biological father. That boy wants to be with his father. You need to let him have that. And especially when he came back out, Thomas was gone. He was wondering where he was at, and you can tell by his face. And Thomas is looking through the window. But at this point, yeah, it looks like it's about to become a custody war down the road. And question is, will Hope cave in before that happens? Either way, Hope is going to feel like her perfect little cabin family is about to burst. So we'll have to wait and see. It's getting interesting at this point. Look like this whole situation with Douglas is going to get messy. And is Sheila actually gone? Okay, so there you have it. The recap for The Bold and the Beautiful for Thursday, August 11, 2022. If you haven't checked out the Young and the Restless recap, it is already downloaded to this channel, so go ahead and check that out. But before you do, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to this channel for all updates, and please don't forget to like and share. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.